to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations coming at you today with another video on Cookie Run Kingdom, and today we're going to be diving into the common mistakes that I see a lot of players make. Whether you are a beginner player, whether you've been playing the game for a couple of days, or you've been playing the game as long as I have from the official release. So hopefully, with me shining some light on these common mistakes, it'll help you guys prevent from making them. So without further ado, as always, let's dive right in. Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, so the first mistake we've got up to bat, and that is going to be buying gold with in-game crystals. That is right. I know a lot of new players currently fall into this trap. You're going to fall into the trap, I don't even know, somewhere between 25 and level 30 of your kingdom or your overall account, because you're going to hit a gold wall. And you might be confused. You might be wondering, well, how exactly do I get more gold at a fast enough rate that I'm going to be spending that gold, whether it's buying landmarks, whether it's buying, or leveling up your cookies, whether it's just everything is going to be require gold, basically. So when you hit that gold wall, one of the biggest things to not do is get into the shop on the crystal and coin section and spend your crystals to buy gold. Now, again, like I said, it might be very tempting because the game does a really good job on giving you guys a bunch of crystals, and that, again, it might be very tempting, but instead utilize other things in the game to get gold. And one of the best of things that you can possibly do to get gold is going to be the Tree of Wishes. So again, we've covered that in a tips video. If you haven't seen that, I'll pop it somewhere up on screen for you guys to go check out those tips video. But nevertheless, do not buy basically gold with your in-game crystals, okay? It is a massive mistake. Now, moving on to number 2, and that is going to be none other than upgrading your cookie houses. So when you go to a specific cookie house, you can see the green button that says level up. Now, you might be tempted, like a lot of players are at the very beginning, to kind of neglect your kingdom a little bit, right? Like you're just solely focused on diving in here and actually, playing out the world exploration mode. Maybe you're just a arena person, a PvP person, whatever it is, you're going to be so tempted to just cover as much content as possible, and you're going to neglect your kingdom. Now, that's not that big of a deal. If you neglect your kingdom right off the bat and then you're just progressing as far as you can through the story mode, it's not the end of the world. But where the mistake comes into play is neglecting specifically your cookie houses that generate experience, because you need this experience, and you need as much of this experience as possible, as much as you can farm starting on day 1, because the more experience you can accumulate on day 1 is going to be the more experience that you're going to have in the later levels. And once you get to level, I'm going to say level 30 and beyond, you're going to start hitting an experience wall where you're going to progress as far as you can in the story mode. You can't cover any more story, so you're trying to basically level up your cookies as much as possible, which, guess what, takes the experience. So again, like I said, do not dive in here and neglect your cookie houses. If you upgrade nothing else in the game, you definitely want to make sure, especially on day 1, that you are buying the cookie houses. Every single cookie house that you can get should be your very first purchase every time you level up, and then the same thing goes for leveling up individual buildings. Your cookie houses should be number 1. I cannot stress that enough. I see a lot of players sleeping on that, and then they hit that level 30, level 35's part into the game, and then they're just basically capped out. They can't move, they can't progress, they can't do anything, myself included. So again, we're hoarding up as much experience as we can, leveling up our cookies as fast as we can, technically as slow as we can, because we didn't take this tip into consideration. So it's coming straight from me to you guys. Level up those cookie houses immediately. All right, now that brings me into the next common mistake, and that is going to be leveling up too many cookies. So if you don't know, in Cookie Run Kingdom, there is absolutely no way currently to reset a cookie and collect the experience and resources that you have dumped into that cookie. So what do I mean by that is I've seen a lot of new players diving into the game, not checking out any content on YouTube or Reddit or Twitter or Facebook or wherever you get your content from, Discord even, wherever you get your content from. A lot of players are just leveling whatever cookies they have. I mean, some players, I've seen even some players level up to the max common cookies. They're not swapping out commons for rares. They're not swapping out rares for epics and etc. And with that being the case, it's going to be a common mistake, because you cannot reset those cookies and get those resources back. So you want to make sure that you 100% are tuning into some videos, or whoever you can ask in the community, to find out what epics, what cookies you're gonna like. Maybe even you don't even want to check in the content, that's okay, but at least dive into the cookie section in the game, read all of the individual cookies, including all the way up to the epics, even though you might not have those epics right away, because that is going to be the cookies that you're going to be going for and pulling for on the different banners that are going to pop up in the game, utilizing your in-game crystals and your in-game free summon tickets basically that they give you. So again, do not invest in multiple cookies, at least invest in a core team, which is going to be a total of 5 cookies. So invest in 5 cookies, try to keep it narrowed down to those 5 cookies, maybe swapping or adding 1 or 2 additional cookies in there that you can then swap in depending on the team composition from PvE to PvP, something like that. But overall, building too many cookies in this game is going to hurt you, and it's going to definitely hurt your progression because you're not going to have enough resources to level up your main core team to push the content as fast and as quickly as possible. Now, that moves me on to the next one, and that is going to be toppings. Let's discuss toppings here really quick. So if you don't already know, in this game there are different rarities of toppings. You've got commons all the way up to epics, and I'm not even sure if they're going to come out with something additional or better than epics, but nevertheless, the different grades of toppings functions just like runes in a lot of other games. And if you don't already know and you can't already guess this common mistake, that is going to be investing in and leveling up common toppings and or pushing rare toppings too far. So what I mean by that is if you don't already know, if you click on one of these toppings here, I can show you exactly what I mean. If you click on one of these rare toppings, you can obviously go to the upgrade section and you can level up that specific topping basically all the way up to a specific max number. So the rare ones, for instance, can go up to 9, and then if you go to an epic one here and you click the auto upgrade button, you could go up to 12. Now, I 100% do not recommend that you guys dive in and level up those rares. And so with that being the case, I definitely think that in the early game, you could definitely use whatever common toppings that you have on any cookie, right? Because you're just diving into the game, you don't have a lot of toppings to pick and choose from, and not only that, you want to try to just put something on your cookies to give them a little bit of an additional buff or bonus. But investing in those toppings at that common and rare level, in my opinion, is not going to be worth it. It's going to be way more worth your time and your investment and your resources leveling in basically rares and epics. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain because the thing is that I think that if you push rare toppings to +6, it's not going to be the end of the world, right? Because you're going to give a little bit of additional bonus, especially if you haven't really gotten into farming epic stages that drop only epic toppings. Then I definitely feel like that, you know, you could, or you're going to have to potentially invest in rare toppings up to like +6. But I would definitely not suggest going any further than +6. Don't go to +9. You're just wasting resources, and you're wasting the precious resources that you need to level up your epic toppings once you do start farming out those epic toppings that you need, because you're going to definitely need more and more and more of those upgrade pieces. Now, again, like I said, that's going to be specifically for the cookie toppings. I just don't waste your resources. This game is going to be very resource heavy, whether we're talking about experience, whether we're talking about leveling up your individual cookies, whether we're talking about, you know, leveling up your skills, whether we're talking about toppings. It doesn't matter. Don't waste your resources. Definitely look to invest for the long game, not the short game, because the game doesn't give you an abundance of a lot of your upgrade materials, at least not at the current state of the game. Okay, so again, don't sleep on this one. Definitely do not level up common toppings and only push rares so far, because you want to make sure you're saving your resources for those grand epic toppings. Now, the next one up is going to be, last but not least for the video, and again, it's going to be another very common mistake that I see a lot of players doing, myself included. I've even slept on a lot of these, and that's going to be not buying the landmarks in the game. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you go to a specific decoration pack, for instance, you can see what they call landmarks. I'm striking out here. Where are they at? Right here. So you can see right here. Now, the landmarks is going to be one of the biggest items you can buy from those specific packs. Some of them are going to cost gold. Some of those are going to cost gems or crystals, whatever you want to call them in the game. But nevertheless, do not sleep on these landmarks. These landmarks are very important, and some of the big ones that you should be looking at to buy right off at the bat is going to be things like the clock tower, things like the additional shard ones. You can get some of those. Now, I've heard some you know, wishy-washy stuff. Some people say you don't get a lot of epic soul stones from those specific ones. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if we head over here to the arcade, for instance, like the bubblegum machine, It costs 4,000 in-game crystals, but it awards you with 1 soul stone to start off with, and then that number, I believe, can go up to 2 soul stones, as you upgrade it. It's all over the place. I've heard some players talk about that it's a very good one. They highly recommend it for any free-to-play player at the beginning because it allows you to accumulate some of those additional soul stones, for free, basically, for doing nothing after spending the 4,000 gems. But then I've also heard other people talk about how they don't recommend getting it because they've done it and they don't think that it's very, useful. But again, diving into some of the other ones, you've got the Grand Desert Tower here, which reduces the recharge time of stamina jellies. Again, not necessarily a game changer in my opinion, but it can be a very good landmark, or at least the best buildings that you can invest in the game are going to be landmarks because they're going to help you game wide. No matter what content you are covering, they're going to be doing some sort of buff, whether it's the attack one that like I have that you just saw on my home screen or on my kingdom, whether it's going to be one that's going to be buffing your defensive units, whether it's going to be one like this that gives you additional soul stones like the Ferris wheel here. Again, it's all over the place when it comes to the landmarks, but you want to make sure that you are not sleeping on those because, like I said, they are very, very important, and they're going to allow you to gain additional buffs, additional things over time, and it's just going to basically enhance your overall experience and make it a little bit easier for yourself later in the game. But that's going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the common tips, and I hope you guys can watch this video prior to making these bad boys like us and a lot of other players in Cookie Run Kingdom. And if not only that, if you have some suggestions, drop them down below as well. I would love to hear any ideas that you guys have. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notification every time we drop a video, and I will see you guys in the next one.